Good morning, friends. This is your old girl, Melanie Rose, here to share your daily aspects. Today is Thursday, December 30, 2021. The sun is in Capricorn. And as we draw this year to a close, we reflect on what we're letting go in terms of our old selves. What worked for us in the past isn't always going to work for us in the present or in the future. This especially is in terms of any thoughts, attitudes, or expectations that we may have found don't really generate for us the growth and uplift that we desire. Our solar cycle, the year, is ending at the same time as the lunar cycle, and I think that's significant. The second day of our new year will also be the culminating day of the new moon. So it's clearly time to be done with all of that stuff that no longer works for us. This applies to stuff. Yes, in today's product rich world, it's important to occasionally get rid of some stuff, and that always feels good. It also applies to letting go of thoughts, ideas, attitudes, and dispositions that no longer work to give us what we're after, which is in the present and the future, not in the past. In the coming days, we will begin to talk about what the work is that is ahead of us, maintaining and growing our empires, making our lives in such a way that we experience optimal joy and peace. But for now, let's focus on the letting go. The moon begins in Scorpio today, making ingress to Sagittarius this afternoon. So here's another shift in our feelings and domestic sphere from fixed water to mutable fire, from setting plans in motion to doing the recon, seeking more information. The waning crescent phase of this energy is also the waning crescent phase energy of this moon is also asking us to continue letting go of the things that aren't working for us so that we can begin fresh with the new moon on Sunday. Okay, let's take a look at these planets and aspects before we get into the interpretations. The legend is here, and I will go over it with you now so that we can start with an idea what energies are in play. Forever at the top of the list is the sun, and the sun represents the outer life. That is, who we are on the outside when we step out the front door, the person that people first get to know when they meet us, and also how we come to engage in our work, social, and civic spheres. After the sun comes the moon. The moon is more about our inner life, and that's your relationship with yourself, your thoughts, feelings, and intuitions, as well as how you come to engage in your domestic sphere. We have Mercury on the page today, and Mercury represents the intellect, which is especially our day-to-day thoughts, plans, and communications. Pluto represents the endings and beginnings, death and rebirth, and also the high highs and the low lows of our experience. Venus is about love and money, or how do you relate to those things and people that you value the most. And Jupiter down here is about growth, expansion, positive vibrations, good fortune. Saturn represents the structures that we rely on for support and also our responsibility to maintain those structures. And Uranus usually comes around and asks us if we can do something a little bit differently, so it brings with it some change. As for aspect energies on the page today, we have a few. I see a couple of different conjunct here. You see that Mercury and Pluto are making a conjunct, and Mercury and Venus are making a conjunct, and Venus and Pluto just came out of their conjunct. All at the same place in the sky there. As for conjunct, just tends to amplify the effects of both of the planets involved. No big deal. And then sextile is a positive energy. It is cooperative, and cooperation makes things happen. So it's likely to generate something good. Ingress is a sign of transition because we're literally seeing a planetary body move from one sign into the next. So its effects on our lives is going to shift a little bit. and square represents the potential for challenges. Signs of note on the page today: Capricorn, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Capricorn. So with all of that said, I have divided our aspects into two columns, one for each of our luminaries. The moon sheds light on our inner lives, and it sets the tone for our emotional experiences and our domestic relations. The moon moves very quickly, creating many brief aspects that represent ambient energies that may bring up moods, feelings, and intuitions for us throughout the course of the day. The sun sheds light on our outer lives, and I address the rest of the planets on this side because these aspects take longer and they have more to do with our actions and interactions out in the world. Once again, we have quite a few aspects today, and we start with the sun side of the page. In the ongoing column, we have Venus in retrograde through January 29. Because Capricorn is heavily involved, I think the theme of this retrograde has more to do with our work and finances than our love lives. This is a time to reassess our habits for relating to our loved ones and our finances. Venus's conjunct with Pluto put a spotlight down so that we could notice what was not working. And with that understanding, we now have the information and the time we need to choose whether to reaffirm our commitments. Saturn square Uranus will be with us through January 6. Saturn rules Capricorn, and Capricorn currently rules the day. Saturn in aspect with Uranus now has us feeling some pressure to do things differently when it comes to the people and the networks that we rely on. The square energy of this aspect says we will meet some challenges as we move through the changes. A few of us may have felt an urge to force some changes. Instead, I encourage you to remain dedicated to self-review. And here's some advice that applies both to Venus retrograde and Saturn square Uranus. Please make no firm commitments to end anything that has been important or that you've come to rely on until January 30th, after Venus retrograde is over. Just to be on the safe side. Today is day 2 of 2 for our Mercury conjunct Venus. This is the time for displays of affection. When we know what we love about a person, we feel practically compelled by conjunct energy to tell them. Venus is in retrograde now, and this says we're in a phase of reassessing our attachments, perhaps being a little conservative with our affection. Think of this as an opportunity to open up with someone we have become withdrawn from in a clear and loving way. We may wind up having some conversations about things we'd like to change about our relating, but let's refrain from seeking to change the person. Just let them know how you feel. This aspect lasts about 2 days and will come around again in September. Mars sextile Saturn, day 2 of 4. This aspect lends us some measure of control over how we expend our energy so that we can have the endurance to see our responsibilities through. Mars is a good sign for beginning, so if we've been thinking about taking on a new responsibility, we're favored with a good outcome here. And then today, Central Standard Time at 3:53 a.m., we begin this Mercury conjunct Pluto. Now, like I said, Mercury conjunct Pluto, Mercury conjunct Venus at the same time, and Venus and Pluto have just started to drift apart. They've been in a conjunct for most of the month. So we've got some intensification of energies as they're all in the same sign as the sun. You've got your intellect, your conversations and your thoughts and your ideas, the extremes of your experience, and also your relationships under review, all in the same part of the sky and under the sun's spotlight. So if you're noticing these things and you're having a lot of that kind of stuff come up, I'm sorry about your luck, but you wouldn't be alone. Know that you're not alone. This 2-day aspect, Mercury conjunct Pluto, is a golden opportunity actually to use our keen senses and our intuitive practices to work with the shadow and to discern truth in the depths there. Secrets of all kinds will pique our curiosity, and we will know the right questions to ask. 2 days. Inquire within. Intuitive practices. As for the moon side of the page, well, let's change our colors here just to be a little contrasted. 7/18, the moon goes sextile with Venus. Take a look. You've got Mercury in conjunct with Pluto, Mercury in conjunct with Venus. Pluto and Venus just came out of their conjunct, so they're still pretty close together. And now the moon is going to make 3 sextile aspects, one with each of those planets. Starting at 7/18 this morning, the moon goes sextile with Venus. This aspect will generally have us feeling the love for those people we keep the closest. It's a good time to get together with friends and enjoy their company. Venus is in retrograde, so we may be feeling less inclined to hang out, but that doesn't mean we can't reach out and let someone know that we're thinking of them. It's a 2 hours. And reach out to someone you care about. At 10:27, this morning moon makes a sextile with Pluto. This one can bring up some buried feelings or memories. If the memory itself isn't pleasant, we do have an opportunity to generate some healing with a little personal work here. 2 hours, we'll say deep recall. Generating a positive outlook. Then at 11:10, so see, this one was done before this one started, but this one is still in progress while the moon sextile Pluto is still in progress when moon sextile Mercury hits. Moon sextile Mercury hits, and that's a void of course moon. The heart and the mind are in cooperative vibration here. We may feel like socializing, and it's not a bad time to talk over any problems we're having at home. These actions, again, are likely to generate good outcomes. So, 2 hours. Let's talk about it. Here you are being asked to reach out to people you love, remember things, and heal over it with your loved one. Then at 5:08 p.m., the moon makes ingress into Sagittarius. Moon in Sagittarius puts wings on our hearts and asks them to fly us someplace we haven't seen before. We feel at ease in the world, and the truths we express are not sugar-coated. This lasts 2.5 days. We say adventure and honesty. I love the way a Sagittarius sun expresses themselves because it can just be so blunt, and you can really be in shock with the things they say. Okay. Not that it's untrue, just that it's very true. And it's like, wow, I can't believe you said that. Moon square Jupiter at 5:42 p.m. This aspect brings in good moods and expansive good fortune, with a warning not to indulge ourselves or help others overindulge themselves. 2 hours, good times, avoid overdoing it. So today's lunar energy signature tells us it's a good day to work on ourselves or to spend it in communion with our closest allies, either reminiscing or making plans to connect. There are approximately 6 hours here in the middle of the day where the moon is void, of course. And this is an ideal time to tune into our intuitive senses, which is what we're being asked to do with this Mercury conjunct Pluto, and also what we're being asked to do with this moon as it shifts from waning crescent to a new moon. Coming up this week, there will be a new moon in Capricorn on Sunday, and this weekend will be the time to turn within and set our intentions for the coming month and the coming year. And we'll talk about these things and more as they arise. That's it for today, friends. This has been your Daily Aspects, an astrological weather forecast for Thursday, December 30, 2021. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below. And if you haven't already, please like my video and subscribe to the Old Girl channel. I will leave this up here for a little bit longer so that you can have time to look it over. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. My name is Melanie Rose, and I will see you back here tomorrow for more Daily Aspects.